Ooh, look what we got today. I've been waiting for this to come in. This is the brand new Depth 215 from MartinLogan. This is a heavy subwoofer. So if you decide to pick this up, the subwoofer weighs, what is it, 173 pounds. So this thing is not a lightweight sub. Here we got the brand new Arc Genesis kit. We got the cables, USB cable. Here's a braided USB cable. Actually got a bunch of USB cables. Micro USB, USB-C. So we got a few different ones. And look at that, this is the brand new Arc Genesis mic. So the old one is made out of plastic. This new one is all made out of metal. This feels really nice, high quality. And it does have the USB-C on the bottom. So this is nice. I believe you could still use the old one. If you have the old microphone kit, the old one should still work with this, but this is the new one for this model. And then this is the tripod. I've already got a tripod, so I'm gonna use my own tripod. But this does come with the entire thing, tripod, USB cables, and then the brand new microphone. Oh, and of course, the subwoofer does come with Arc room correction built into it. Here we got the accessories box. By scanning the QR code, this will take you to the download link for either iOS or Android, if you want to do that. Here we've got the power cable. Here's the MartinLogan cover plate for the control panel, which I think is on the front of the subwoofer. This will attach and detach magnetically. Here we've got the quick start guide. And then also included is the wireless transmitter. So the subwoofer has the wireless receiver built into it. This is the transmitter. Also comes with the little power adapter. And then the included cables. So it looks like a RCA cable. Then you have a USB-C cable to go from the receiver into the power adapter. So that's pretty nice if you want to run this. If the subwoofer is located far away, you can just hook this up wirelessly. So you don't have to spend extra for the wireless kit. So that's really nice. It's a really nice addition. And then included as well, we do have 4 spiked feet, which you can put on the bottom of the subwoofer. This is the replacement for the Balance Force series of subwoofers. So the Balance Force subwoofers went from, I think it was the Balance Force 210 and also the 212. I reviewed the 212, I think sometimes I think about 5 years ago. So if you missed that video, check it out. It's a good video. This is the 215. So this is going to be the biggest one in the lineup. And then the smallest one in the lineup is going to be the Depth 212. So here we have got the little control panel, which if we take the little cover plate, that goes right there, connects magnetically. So let's check this out. So it looks like, so this is just a flat matte black kind of satiny finish, has really nice soft touch to it. Then of course, this does have the dual oppose or balance force drivers on each side. We should be able to just pop this off, just like that. So here we have the brand new 15-inch driver in the dual array. There's one here and there's one on the opposite side. So this is going to give us frequency response of 18 hertz up to 120 hertz. Doesn't seem quite as big as, obviously it's not as big as the box. So once you get it out, it's actually kind of compact. Size-wise, it does measure 22.5 inches wide by 22.8 inches in height, and depth-wise, from front to back, 23.4 inches in depth. Almost a perfect 22-inch square. And it does have this tire gloss finish, so if you look at the back, it's pure gloss, and then also on the top panel, it's pure gloss as well. The Balance Force series of subwoofers had that frosted, that tinted glass plate that was on the top, which you would pop off, and then the controls were located there. But they've moved that now to the front of the subwoofer. And it still does have that. I think it's I don't think it's the Balance Force subs had a kind of like a trapezoidal shape to it. This one looks like it's just this one just looks like it's a square, so it doesn't have that triangular shape anymore. But here we go. We're on the back. So here we've got the AC power inlet there. This is the ARC input. Here we have the power status LED indicator, power mode. We have on, triggers in the middle, and then auto on off goes all the way to the end there. Here is the 12 volt trigger. We've got the sub out, sub in. We got RCA, unbalanced inputs, outputs. We have XLR, and then if you want to go line level, you can connect up via banana inputs here on the bottom, which is pretty cool. And then there is the wireless audio status symbol LED indicator right there, as well as the parent button. And this is powered by a 2200 RMS amplifier, 4400 watts peak, and the amplifier is built inside of the subwoofer, so this keeps everything nice, compact. Also, all the connections are on the bottom of the sub, so once you stick your cables on the bottom here, it doesn't stick out straight from the back. It actually comes and loops down from the bottom, so it keeps everything nice and flush. So if you want to push this up against your wall, you can do that there. And since the amplifier is built into the subwoofer, they have put heat sinks on the bottom here, which keeps everything nice and cool. And this entire bottom plate here is made out of solid aluminum. You can see the four corners is where you would put your spike feet in if you wanted to. Otherwise, it does come with these little rubber covers. So if you have this on a hardwood floor or something like that, this would keep it from sliding around. It was 4 years ago when I had the Balance Force 212s in for a review back at the old theater, which was maybe a quarter of the size of this theater. And one of those subwoofers would have been more than enough for that space. But obviously, I had to have two. And those things absolutely destroyed. They're still on my Mount Rushmore of top-tier subwoofers. I believe they played down to 10 hertz in that room, which I'm sure was getting a ton of additional room gain. In the room that I'm in now, I'm positive it's not going to be that big of a factor, but we'll see. Now, I did go ahead and place one of the subwoofers in the front right corner and the other subwoofer in the opposite left rear corner. These are both hooked up to a Trinov Altitude processor and paired up with some RBH speakers. Demo playback is done using a Zidu media player using 4K rips. Since the subs do have their own room correction, I did not use the correction in the processor and just ran the subwoofer's own room correction. I did, however, adjust the delays in the processor to get the 215s to sum together. The arc room correction that's built into the 215s can only EQ that specific sub and not multiple subs. So if you've got more than one subwoofer, there's going to be some manual intervention that you're going to have to do if you want to get the absolute best results. All right, so as mentioned earlier, they moved the controls from the top of the Balance 4 series of subwoofers over to the front, and they did put the controls behind that glass cover. So the cool thing here is that there's a motion sensor, I believe, or proximity sensor in front of the glass. So if you get close to it, it turns off that blue light, and then it turns on the control panel. And as you can see, once it times out, the display shuts off, and then it'll just shine a solid color, which you can change in the settings. You need to be on page 2 of the menu, choose logo color. You can pop into that, and then here you can choose through all of these different colors here. Or if you don't want any backlight, you would just choose off. And then once you pick your color, click on done. So when the screen times out, you can see that once you put the glass back on, the color that you just chose will shine through the glass and just illuminate the logo. So again, as we get closer to it, you can see that the touchscreen turns on. So we have a few different functions here, which you can access either through the front panel controls, or you can access these settings through the app. This app is for iOS. This is on the iPad. So once you open it up, you're going to be taken to the home page. This is what we're going to see. You can see in the top row here, we've got movie, music, and then night presets. This here is your main volume dial. On the bottom here is the ARC button. You can turn that on or off from the main page. And also there is a sweep button. Once you press on this, this will play a tone through the subwoofer. So if you want to look for rattles or any kind of dead spots, anything like that, click on this, and then it'll play a sweeping tone. And you can also pause it at any frequency here. So that's a pretty cool feature. On the bottom row, we have the settings, back to volume, low pass filter, we got bypass, third or fourth order, phase, you can invert it, and it's also variable from 0 to 180 degrees. Listening mode are the presets. You can add a boost between 20 and 30 hertz. Here's the room correction. You can put a passcode on the subwoofer if you don't want anybody messing with your settings. You can rename the subwoofer. Check out all the information on your specific subwoofer. Hopefully they put a new graphic of the subwoofer instead of a question mark and that old processor. And then the last option is the reset to factory settings. Now, I'm not going to go and do a deep dive into using Arc Room Correction, but I think it's pretty straightforward. You can download the Arc Genesis software for either Windows or for Mac, which is going to be the version that I'm using on a MacBook Air. All right, so once you start up the software, you're going to have to choose your microphone, and you can take up to 10 measurement spots in your room. I'm only going to do 5, so it'll go a lot quicker. All right, after you take all your measurements, it's going to take you to step 4, which is the review, summary, and upload section. From here, you can see that this has already taken all the measurements, and we're going to check out the curve viewer. So here we have the first profile. This is profile 1. The speaker is the subwoofer. You can show all the measurements, which you can see how many it took here. It took 5 of them, so all of them are kind of scattered about. You can show the combined measurement, which is this here in the red. We've got show combined measurement with the level adjustment. Again, it looks the same. And then show combined measurement with a level adjustment and bass management. Show the target curve, which is going to be this black line here. So it's going to try to get it as smooth as possible there. And the target curve. Next is show corrected curve, which is going to be this, I think it's a beige line here. So that is going to be what the filter has applied to get it as close as possible to your target curve. And then here is the show arc adjustment equalization curve. Let's go out of this, and then you can also adjust arc settings. So from here, I'm going to select the speaker that I just did. You can adjust the speaker levels here. You can adjust your targets here. So you can adjust your room gain. So you can go from a 0 up to a 6 dB boost. You can adjust the room gain center frequency, deep bass boost. You got deep bass boost center frequency. You can adjust that here, tilt level, start frequency. And then high frequency extension. You can choose anywhere from 120 up to 300. Low frequency extension from 15 hertz up to 120. And then you can choose your slope. So you got flat all the way up to 16th. And then the minimum correction frequency from 15 hertz to 120 hertz. So I have left this as is, and I just uploaded it straight to my subwoofer. So once you make all the changes that you want to make, just click on upload to your device and it'll send it over to the subwoofer. Let's take it back to the same demos that I used for the Balance Force review. First one being The Greatest Showman. I won't be able to play any of the musical numbers without getting hit with copyright, but this intro has incredibly powerful bass.
This is the moment you've waited for.
Whoo! These things can bump. It didn't matter if I was in the front row or the back row. It was like blunt force trauma straight through my body. This was way more than I was expecting from just 2 subwoofers. It's the kind of sensation I get with my 8 subwoofers, one of them being a 21-inch. So the fact that I'm getting this kind of tactile feedback with a pair of subwoofers is pretty impressive. And throughout the movie, with all of its musical numbers, the 215s with its big 15-inch drivers were just as nimble and effortless as some of the smaller subwoofers that I've reviewed in the past, like the ELAC 1200 from last week. It's light and textured and handling delicate passages, never overtaking the speakers or rather sounding too heavy. They complemented the piano during the opera scene, and when the bass starts swelling, it remains clean and linear, never coming across lumpy or boomy, and those bass drops towards the end of the song can hammer down with insane force. Which brings us over to Kong Skull Island. We know that the 215 can deal with detailed musical numbers with effortless transient response, but we're home theater guys. We want the boom and the bang, and a giant gorilla can bring that. these can get downright scary. Now, I know that my neighbors don't come home till 4:30, but I did have to go outside just to double check that their cars were gone. It's kind of like that feeling you get in your gut when you turn the volume up too loud and you know you're doing something wrong. I got that with this movie. I was a little worried that these weren't going to be able to produce the chopper whooshing as they fly towards Kong, but they 100% pressurized my entire theater and rattled everything in the kitchen in the next room.
Kill this son of a bitch.
If you've seen this movie and your subs don't make it seem like your chairs are going to float off the ground, then I think you need bigger subs. When Kong is running through the jungle, I could feel every single footstep billow up from the ground as if he was running through my neighborhood. This is the kind of over-the-top bass that you'd get from a Christopher Nolan movie. So we should probably check out the opera scene from Tenet.
Established contact.
Bring you in or kill you. I have 2 minutes. Make up your mind. Where's the package?
Coach out.
Folks like to complain that they can't hear dialogue from Nolan's movies because it gets drowned out from all the music and the bass. Well, if you have a subwoofer that's clean, has proper control of the driver to keep it from sounding like booming slop. The dialogue in this movie, Interstellar, or any number of Christopher Nolan's films should not have an issue with intelligibility. For as outlandishly bombastic this DTS mix is, it's not just loud. The gunshots pop through the speakers, but also carry a touch of kickback that the subs pick up to add some additional weight to these shootouts. On lesser quality subs, those same gunshots would sound boomy and less articulate and come across artificial sounding. There's a lot of soundbar subwoofers out there that, even if there's a hint of bass, it'll come blasting out of the subwoofer. The 215 remains quiet. It can wake up to whisper little low-frequency notes or wake straight up and blow the windows out of a building. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with Edge of Tomorrow in DTS HD. I don't know if these subwoofers are mad at me or what, but the bass in this demo was really angry and aggressive. It almost felt personal. It was rattling my screen wall and my projector's hush box in the back of the room, so I need to screw those in at some point in time. Now, during this intro, there's 5 different bass drops. I believe it's 30 Hertz, 25, 20, 15, and 10. The first 4 drops are ridiculously insane. After that, the 215 sort of just drops off, so it's not doing infrasonics, at least not in my theater. Infrasonics is where you don't hear the bass, but you feel the pressure build up around you. It's really something you need to experience just to get a gist of it. Now, just because it's not doing single-digit infrasonics doesn't take away that it's crazy clean from, I'd say, 15 Hertz on up. Most subs do have a hard time doing anything near 20 Hertz. And to verify that, I did take a few measurements in the theater. Keep in mind that these are the responses I got in my space, and it'll surely be very different for yours. The first one here is with the subwoofer measured in the front of the room, and here is the one in the back. Together you can see how well they work together, and I'm getting extension down to around 17 Hertz. This is all running without room correction applied. With correction turned on, we can see that it did try to flatten the response, which, by the way, I haven't applied any smoothing to this graph. I got a little bump at 15 Hertz, then it drops off from there, which aligns exactly with what I heard in the Edge of Tomorrow demo. I believe in my old theater, since it was so small, I was getting a lot of extra additional gain down low. But this is a clean measurement without any manual EQ adjustments in the processor. That dip at 115 Hertz, my speakers will fill in, so that's really not an issue. And again, both of these together play extremely loud and clean. At the time of this video, a single MartinLogan Depth 215 is selling for $7,000. I know that's a lot of spare change, but in the landscape of flagship subwoofers, this is kind of a bargain. The build quality is top tier MartinLogan, and without even messing around too much with Arc Genesis, I got great results using the room correction. I guess the only nitpick I have is, sure, it doesn't do 10 hertz, but everything else, this is about as good as you can get in an all-in-one subwoofer, meaning design, features, and performance. It has a light touch if you want to use this for a music-only setup, and can get downright nasty if you want to use this for the latest blockbuster movie that has good audio. If I didn't need to have subwoofers hung on my wall for Trinnov waveforming, I would totally buy these subs. They're that good. Well, thanks for watching. Links are down in the description if you want to pick up one of these subwoofers or if you want to get some more information. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video.